Hello, my friends, and welcome to History Digger. Take a comfortable position. Let your shoulders soften. Let your thoughts loosen their grip. And as you listen, allow your mind to wander. Not through galaxies tonight, but through sunlight and flowers, through warmth and wings, through the golden hum of life on Earth. Because tonight, we are visiting one of nature's quietest miracles, the honeybee. A creature so small, yet so connected to the rhythm of our planet's survival. This isn't just a story about bees. It's a journey through the science of calm, where every sound, every movement, and every drop of honey tells a story of balance. So close your eyes and imagine yourself standing in a gentle meadow. The air is warm, filled with the scent of clover and wild thyme. The late afternoon sun paints everything in gold. A breeze moves softly through tall grass. And somewhere near you, a small, steady hum begins to rise. It's not loud. It's not sharp. It's rhythmic, musical, like the earth breathing in slow motion. That sound is the sound of life continuing, of thousands of tiny hearts working together in perfect harmony. The honeybee, for more than 100 million years, bees have flown through our skies, long before humans walked the earth, long before flowers bloomed as they do today. Their ancestors were already here, pollinating, building, dreaming in wax and sunlight. Scientists have found fossils of ancient bees, preserved in amber, each wing and leg perfectly trapped in time. Proof that this humble insect has watched entire ages of Earth rise and fall. Even the dinosaurs once lived under skies filled with bees. And when the great creatures vanished, the bees remained, tiny survivors carrying forward the oldest partnership in nature, the bond between flower and pollinator. As you breathe slowly, imagine a bee hovering before a blossom. Her wings beat more than 200 times per second, so fast they blur into stillness. Each beat is a vibration through air and sunlight, a small tremor that holds her steady in flight. She moves not with struggle, but with precision, guided by the invisible geometry of scent, light, and memory. Her tiny eyes, 5 of them, see patterns and colors we cannot. Ultraviolet trails on petals, invisible to us, shine like glowing highways to her, guiding her to nectar hidden deep inside the flower's heart. When she lands, her legs brush gently against the pollen. It clings to her hairs, soft golden dust, and as she moves from flower to flower, she carries the secret of reproduction, connecting one living thing to another. It is through this quiet labor that nearly 3/4 of the world's crops are able to grow. Apples, almonds, sunflowers, berries, all owe their beauty and nourishment to her. And she asks for nothing. No recognition, no reward, just the simple joy of doing what she was born to do. If you listen carefully, the hum of a beehive isn't random noise. It's a kind of music made by purpose. Each vibration, each movement, is part of a system older than civilization itself. Inside the hive, thousands of bees move as one mind. Their antennae touch. Their bodies warm one another. Their wings create a low, steady heat that keeps the hive's heart alive, always around 35 degrees Celsius, the perfect temperature for their young to grow. Even in the coldest night, the bees cluster together, vibrating gently to share warmth. They are living proof. That connection keeps life alive. And as you hear this, your breath slows again. You feel that same warmth, that same unity flow gently through your own body. Because in some quiet way, you are part of this story too. Bees have seen the rise of forests, the bloom of continents, the growth of civilizations. They have existed longer than the pyramids, longer than human language, and their way of life has hardly changed. They still move from flower to flower, still weave their hives from wax made within themselves, still turn sunlight into sweetness, a chemical miracle wrapped in simplicity. They remind us that survival doesn't always mean strength. Sometimes it means harmony, the ability to listen to the world around you, to find rhythm in repetition and purpose in stillness. So if your mind wanders tonight, let wander like a bee, gently, patiently, from one soft thought to the next. No hurry, no noise, only quiet curiosity. And if this soft journey into the hive has already begun to slow your heart, let it be a gentle reminder. You can drift deeper anytime you wish, simply by listening, breathing, and allowing yourself to rest. Before we continue deeper into this golden world, a small whisper to your heart. If this calm and curiosity bring you peace tonight, consider joining History Digger, where stories like this one, stories of science, nature, and wonder, are crafted to help you rest, learn, and dream. Your listening supports more soft journeys into the world's quiet miracles. Now, return to the meadow. The hum of wings grows softer, fading into the sound of the breeze. You can almost smell honey in the air. Sweet, warm, timeless. Above you, a single bee hovers, glowing gold in the light of dusk. She turns and disappears into the vast blue, carrying with her a story older than stars. The story continues, deep within the hive, where warmth, order, and life never truly sleep. We're entering the hive, the hidden city beneath the buzz, a place of lightless order and perfect design. Inside, the air is warm, almost body temperature, thick with the scent of wax and nectar. It's dark here, but the bees don't need eyes to see. They see through touch, through smell, through vibration. Every surface in this golden world is alive with information. Each wall is built from hexagons, the most efficient shape in nature. Mathematicians have long marveled at how bees discovered this perfect geometry. The hexagon allows them to store the most honey using the least amount of wax, a design that human engineers still study and replicate today. And as the bees move through this golden maze, they navigate not by sight, but by scent. Their invisible map of the hive. Every bee knows her place by the fragrance of the wax, the subtle perfume of her queen, and the faint taste of the air. It's a symphony of senses, a communication network built from chemistry. When a worker bee returns from the meadow, her body hums with purpose. She carries tiny grains of pollen in her baskets, and her stomach, the honey stomach, is full of nectar. But before she rests, she has a story to tell. She finds a patch of comb where her sisters gather close. Then she begins to dance. This is not a random movement. It's a form of mathematical poetry, the waggle dance, one of nature's most extraordinary languages. As she moves in small figure eights, the angle of her dance tells her sisters the direction of the flower field. Relative to the sun, the speed of her waggles tells them how far away it is. The intensity of her buzz reveals how rich the flowers are in nectar. No words, no sounds, only rhythm, only motion. And from this silent ballet, thousands of bees will know exactly where to go. It's as if an entire city communicates through dance. Each movement is sentence, each vibration a whisper of sunlight and scent. Science once struggled to believe that such a small creature could carry such complex knowledge, but time and study revealed that bees are far more intelligent than we ever imagined. They can count, remember landmarks, and even recognize human faces. Experiments show that bees can learn patterns and solve simple puzzles. Tiny mathematicians with wings. Their brains are no larger than a grass seed. And yet inside that small space, exist the same neural structures that support memory, learning, and even something close to decision-making. When you think about it, this is not just the science of bees. It's the science of wonder, a reminder that intelligence is not measured by size, but by connection, the ability to sense, adapt, and communicate. Now breathe slowly again. Let the rhythm of the bee's wings sync with your own heartbeat. Imagine yourself standing near their hive, hearing that steady hum, not noise, but a pulse of life. Inside, the bees are working in soft harmony. The foragers deliver their nectar. The house bees accept it, mixing it with enzymes from their bodies, beginning the alchemy of honey making. Drop by drop, they fan their wings to evaporate the water, thickening the nectar into liquid gold. Once it reaches perfection, they seal it with a thin cap of wax, a treasure locked in amber for months to come. Every drop of honey represents thousands of flights, millions of flowers, and an intelligence written in instinct. And as you listen, perhaps your own thoughts begin to thicken and slow, like nectar turning into honey. You're breathing deeper, your body heavier, your mind quieter, because in this moment, you're also part of this rhythm. The same energy that flows through them flows through you. A bee doesn't ask questions of tomorrow. She works for the moment, driven by sunlight and scent, trusting that her small act of purpose keeps the world alive. You too can rest in that peace tonight, knowing that even stillness has meaning, that in this vast, buzzing planet, your calm is part of the balance. So, if this gentle journey soothes your thoughts, I invite you to continue drifting with me, night after night, into more stories like this one, science told softly, for the calm of your mind. Your quiet support helps keep this golden world alive here, in sound and story. Now, let's return to the hive. Listen to the hum once more. It's softer now, as the bees settle for their night's rest, their bodies forming a living blanket, protecting the queen, protecting the next generation. In this darkness, nothing stirs but the slow breath of life. The scent of wax and honey fills the air. The vibration of wings fades to stillness. And as the hive sleeps, so can you. The hive, quiet now under the dimming sun, holds a secret at its heart, a single life that guides them all. She is not a ruler of command or cruelty, but of scent, of chemistry, of presence. She is the queen. Every hive has one mother to thousands, one source of unity in the hum. When she moves, the air shifts slightly, a perfume of power and peace spreading around her. Her daughters, the workers, pause for a moment as she passes, their antennae brushing gently against her sides, reading her scent, reaffirming her presence. This scent, invisible yet potent, is what keeps the hive together. Scientists call it a pheromone, a chemical message that says, all is well, the queen is here. It travels from bee to bee, through touch, through grooming, until every creature in this golden labyrinth knows their mother lives. Their world remains in harmony. But how is a queen made? That story begins not in grandeur, but in a simple cell of wax, not unlike the rest. When a hive senses the need, perhaps the old queen is aging, or the colony is ready to divide, the workers choose a few newborn larvae. These tiny, translucent forms could have grown into ordinary workers, but destiny changes with diet. For the chosen few, the bees feed them something rare, a milky, glowing substance called royal jelly. It's rich with proteins and hormones, and it transforms an ordinary larva into something extraordinary. Day by day, this chosen bee grows faster, larger, and her body begins to change. Her ovaries develop, her abdomen lengthens, and her pheromones begin to bloom. Soon, she will emerge not as a worker, but as a queen, the single most vital being in the hive. Nature's quiet alchemy has spoken. When a new queen is born, her life begins in tension. She is not welcomed by the others immediately. There can only be one queen, and if another still lives, a duel is inevitable. Scientists have witnessed it, a ritual both fierce and elegant. Two queens meet, their movements deliberate and slow, each armed with a stinger that can pierce the other, though never used against their own kind otherwise. When one prevails, the hive again has peace, balance is restored, and so begins a reign, not from a throne, but from motion, purpose, and scent. She will lay up to 2,000 eggs a day, painting the future of the colony, cell by cell, hour by hour. Each egg, smaller than a grain of sand, is a potential worker, drone, or even queen. From her body, the next generation blooms, and with it, the cycle of the hive continues. Outside, life hums endlessly on. The workers gather nectar. The drones drift in slow arcs through the summer air. And deep inside, the queen moves steadily among her children, tended, cleaned, and fed by her attendants. She doesn't leave the hive often. In truth, she leaves only once in her life. For her nuptial flight, it happens in sunlight, usually on a warm, calm day. She rises through the air, surrounded by a cloud of male bees. The drones, drawn by her invisible perfume, they follow her upward, higher and higher, until they disappear into the blue. There, high above the fields and forests, she mates in flight, collecting enough genetic material to last her entire lifetime. When she returns, she carries with her the future of her colony, thousands upon thousands of lives, waiting in tiny white eggs. And from that day onward, she never flies again. Her kingdom becomes her hive, her purpose eternal. Imagine for a moment this life of pure devotion, to build, to nurture, to continue. Her daughters feed her, protect her, clean her wings and antennae, and carry her message throughout the hive. She will never see sunlight again, but she will live for years, far longer than her workers. Her existence both sacred and necessary. Each day, she moves slowly, guided by rhythm and instinct, laying eggs into the honeycomb, in perfect spirals of design. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the heartbeat of the hive, echoing around her. And yet, despite her quiet dominance, the queen is not truly in control. In nature's design, the hive itself is the mind, a superorganism, a single being made from thousands. Each bee acts like a neuron, each cluster a thought. The hive decides when to swarm, when to raise a new queen, when to store or eat, when to live or die. It's collective intelligence, a society functioning as one. Biologists call it emergent behavior, the miracle of simple beings, creating complex order. No single bee understands a blueprint, and yet, together, they build a masterpiece. As the night deepens, the hive's energy shifts again. The workers slow their motion. The air thickens with warmth and scent. In the center, the queen continues her quiet work, her body gently pulsing with life. Around her, thousands of wings rustle like soft wind in tall grass. Their sound is slower now, a lullaby for the living. And somewhere deep inside you, that sound resonates, a reminder that cooperation and care are not just human traits. They are universal. They are nature's secret rhythm. The bees build because that is what they were born to do. They serve because service sustains the world. And perhaps tonight, as your mind drifts between thought and dream, you too can feel that same rhythm, the deep, steady hum of life working in quiet harmony, the sound that says, all is well, the hive is whole. The air inside the hive is soft and fragrant tonight. A delicate sweetness clings to every surface. the scent of nectar, of flowers, of work made sacred. You can almost feel the hum of purpose, the pulse of thousands moving as one. Somewhere in the center, a worker bee pauses at the entrance of a comb cell. Her tiny body glows faintly in the dim golden light, her wings still trembling from flight. She has returned from the world beyond, carrying sunlight in liquid form, nectar gathered drop by drop from the hearts of flowers. And this is where the alchemy begins. Each flight may seem small, but one bee can visit up to 5,000 flowers a day. She drinks from the blooms of clover, lavender, and wild thyme, sipping not for herself, but for the hive. The nectar she carries rests inside a special chamber, the honey stomach, separate from her own digestion. There it mingles with enzymes, beginning a transformation that has taken millions of years to perfect. By the time she returns home, the nectar has already changed, lighter, sweeter, filled with the signature of her journey. She meets a house bee waiting at the entrance. Their antennae touch briefly, a gesture of recognition and exchange. Then, gently, the forager passes the nectar to her sister, mouth to mouth, in a delicate transfer of chemistry and trust. The house bee takes over, moving deeper into the hive's golden corridors. She pauses at a cell and deposits the nectar, a glistening droplet suspended in wax. Now the process of transformation continues. The air grows warmer here, kept between 33 and 36 degrees Celsius, the perfect temperature for preservation. Hundreds of bees fan their wings in gentle rhythm, circulating air through the hive. The hum becomes a low, steady breeze, and slowly, the moisture begins to evaporate from the nectar. What began as a watery sweetness becomes thicker, denser, more luminous, like sunlight turning to amber. The bees are patient. They fan for hours, sometimes for days, until the nectar becomes something new, something immortal. This is honey, the world's oldest and most perfect food. Science tells us honey never truly spoils. Archaeologists have found pots of it in ancient Egyptian tombs, still golden, still edible after 3,000 years. That is the gift of the bees, to create something that defies time. Every drop is a story of survival. Flowers, sunlight, wings, and patience, woven together into sweetness. And perhaps, as you listen, you can feel that same transformation within yourself. The slow thickening of thoughts into calm, the cooling of your breath, the quiet settling of your body. Just as nectar becomes honey, your waking mind turns to dream. Inside the hive, the alchemy continues. Once the honey reaches perfection, the workers seal it with a tiny brush of wax. They close each cell, locking the golden liquid inside as food for the future. When the days grow colder and flowers disappear, the bees will gather around their treasure. They will form a living sphere, their bodies pressed close, shivering gently to create warmth. At the center of this living furnace sits the queen, safe, surrounded by her daughters, fed with drops of stored sunlight. The hive glows in the dark like a silent heart, beating against the winter cold. And this simple cycle of collection, transformation, and rest is one of nature's greatest miracles. Each bee gives her short life to this work. Most live only about 6 weeks in summer. In that time, she will make less than 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey. Yet together, thousands of lives create enough to sustain the colony. There is something profoundly peaceful in that truth, that even the smallest acts, done with devotion, can build something timeless. The hive thrives not through strength or speed, but through harmony. And maybe tonight, as you breathe slowly, you can feel that same harmony beginning to hum inside you too. the soft cooperation of your heartbeat and your breath, the cells of your body working in quiet unity, each doing its part, without noise or demand. You too are a kind of hive. You too are made of living light. If you listen now, you might imagine the sound, thousands of wings brushing together, a gentle breeze of motion and intention. No chaos, no confusión, just the simple rhythm of life unfolding, exactly as it should. A bee drifts past the hive entrance, drawn by the scent of clover and wild mint. Another returns, dusty with pollen, her body glowing faintly gold. Even in darkness, they never stop their song. The hum deepens, soft as a heartbeat, low as a sigh. The air thickens with sweetness, the scent of wax and honey curling like incense. And you, the listener, are drifting, slowly, gently, into the same rhythm. You are not separate from this story. You are part of the living world, connected to every wing beat, every flower, every shimmer of light. As you rest, the bees finish their work for the day. The hive settles into a warm quiet, the hum fading to a whisper. Outside, the first stars bloom in the evening sky, and the meadow breathes out a final sigh of summer air. The scent of honey still lingers, like a promise of sweetness, carried through the night. And this simple cycle of collection, transformation, and rest is one of nature's greatest miracles. Each bee gives her short life to this work. Most live only about 6 weeks in summer. In that time, she will make less than 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey. Yet together, thousands of lives create enough to sustain the colony. There is something profoundly peaceful in that truth, that even the smallest acts, done with devotion, can build something timeless. The hive thrives not through strength or speed, but through harmony. And maybe tonight, as you breathe slowly, you can feel that same harmony beginning to hum inside you too, the soft cooperation of your heartbeat and your breath, the cells of your body working in quiet unity, each doing its part, without noise or demand. You too are a kind of hive. You too are made of living light. If you listen now, you might imagine the sound, thousands of wings brushing together, a gentle breeze of motion and intention. No chaos, no confusión, just the simple rhythm of life unfolding, exactly as it should. A bee drifts past the hive entrance, drawn by the scent of clover and wild mint. Another returns, dusty with pollen, her body glowing faintly gold. Even in darkness, they never stop their song. The hum deepens, soft as a heartbeat, low as a sigh. The air thickens with sweetness, the scent of wax and honey curling like incense. And you, the listener, are drifting, slowly, gently, into the same rhythm. You are not separate from this story. You are part of the living world, connected to every wing beat, every flower, every shimmer of light. As you rest, the bees finish their work for the day. The hive settles into a warm quiet, the hum fading to a whisper. Outside, the first stars bloom in the evening sky, and the meadow breathes out a final sigh of summer air. The scent of honey still lingers, like a promise of sweetness, carried through the night. Each journey is a quiet miracle of navigation, a blend of memory, magnetism, and instinct, woven into a creature smaller than your fingertip. And when she finds a new bloom, she doesn't keep it a secret. She dances. Back at the hive, she shares the coordinates with her sisters, a living GPS powered by rhythm and trust. That's how the meadow stays alive. That's how the world keeps blooming. But it's not only honeybees. Across the planet, there are over 20,000 species of bees, each with its own pattern, its own hum, its own way of keeping the planet in balance. Some are metallic green, like jewels. Others are tiny and solitary, nesting in hollow reeds or in the ground. There are bumblebees, whose fuzzy bodies make a deeper, slower buzz that can shake loose pollen from stubborn flowers, a process called buzz pollination. And there are even orchids that evolve to look like female bees, tricking the males into visiting and spreading pollen in the process. It's an endless, intricate dance, a collaboration between flower and insect that began long before humans ever walked the earth. If you think of it, every field, every forest, every orchard is a giant, living conversation. Bees speak in scent, flowers reply with color, wind carries their words across valleys, and sunlight keeps the rhythm steady. It's the language of ecosystems, ancient, silent, and perfectly balanced. When scientists study pollination, they see not just biology, but harmony. Every species, every act of flight, is a note in the music of survival. And just as music has rests and pauses, the natural world, too, needs its moments of stillness, its quiet evenings, its soft, sleeping hours. Now, let your breathing slow again. Inhale and exhale as gently as the breeze that moves through wildflowers. Imagine yourself lying in a summer field. The air smells of grass and warm soil. A single bee drifts nearby, circling lazily, searching for her next bloom. Her hum is low and peaceful, not alarming but grounding, a vibration that reminds you that life continues, quietly and purposefully, all around you. She lands on a daisy, rests for heartbeat, then moves on. Each flower she visits is one more thread in the fabric of tomorrow. Sometimes at night, we forget how deeply connected we are to these small, unassuming lives. But in truth, the air we breathe, the food we eat, the very scent of the world depends on their work. If all the bees vanished, many of our crops would fail. Fruits and nuts would grow scarce. The wildflowers that feed birds and butterflies would disappear too. But there is hope, because bees are resilient, and people are learning how to protect them. Wild gardens are being planted again. Farmers are leaving strips of land for flowers to grow. Cities are building rooftop hives, bringing the hum of nature back to concrete places. It's as though humanity is remembering its quiet friendship with the bees, a bond older than language itself. So as you drift now, listening to the faint hum of memory in motion, remember that you're also part of this balance. Every calm breath you take feeds the same world the bees protect. Every moment of gratitude adds to the harmony of the living earth. In the grand scale of existence, you and the bee are not so different. Both small, both fleeting, yet both capable of sustaining something vast. The night deepens. The air grows cooler. The hive glows faintly with the warmth of its own breath. And far above, the stars shimmer like scattered pollen. Across the dark sky, each star, each bee, each heartbeat, a reminder that the universe is built from tiny things working together, quietly keeping the light alive. The hum softens now, a lullaby of wings and wind. The flowers close their petals. The hive sighs into rest, and the meadow sleeps. All is still, all is whole, all is part of the same golden dream. The night is deep and quiet now. A gentle hum lingers in the air, not loud, but steady, like the slow heartbeat of the earth itself. You can almost hear it in the distance, that soft vibration beneath the stars, the faint whisper of the hive. Inside that hive, beneath the waxy hexagons and the warmth of 1,000 wings, lies one of nature's quietest wonders, intelligence in miniature. We often think of bees as instinct-driven, creatures of repetition and routine. But the deeper science looks, the more extraordinary they become. Each honeybee, no bigger than a paperclip, has a brain the size of a sesame seed. Yet within that tiny space, are around 1 million neurons, enough to navigate vast distances, memorize landmarks, and even recognize human faces. Yes, faces. Researchers discovered that bees can learn to identify photographs of people and remember them for days. They can tell one flower from another, judge distances with uncanny accuracy, and even perform basic arithmetic, adding and subtracting small numbers. When trained with sweet rewards, all of this happens inside a mind smaller than a grain of rice. It's humbling, isn't it, to realize that intelligence does not depend on size or complexity, but on purpose, on the pure devotion to life's patterns. Now imagine that hive again. Thousands of individuals moving as one, not through command, but through communication. They share information by touch, by scent, by vibration. A bee can send a message through the rhythm of her wings alone, a kind of Morse code made of movement. If a predator nears the hive, the vibration changes. If new nectar is found, a scout returns and dances, the famous waggle dance. Through this elegant motion, she tells her sisters the direction, the distance, and even the quality of the flower patch she discovered. It's like watching living geometry, an encoded language of loops, wags, and turns that only bees can read. To us, it looks like dance. To them, it is poetry. There is more. Scientists once believed that emotion was a uniquely human experience, a gift of larger, more complex minds. But in 2016, researchers observed something stunning. Bees that were gently shaken, mimicking the experience of a storm or predator, showed signs of anxiety and stress. Their movements changed, their exploration slowed, their curiosity faded. But when offered a drop of sweet nectar, their behavior brightened again. This simple experiment suggested something profound, that bees can feel optimism and fear, that they experience mood, and perhaps, in their own small way, something like emotion. Not human emotion, but a soft awareness of safety, danger, reward, and trust. It makes you wonder, how much of the world's living pulse is built on quiet feelings we'll never fully name? Take a slow breath in and let it go. As your body softens, imagine the warmth of the hive again, each bee humming softly, each vibration carrying information, emotion, and purpose. Now, picture one bee leaving the hive. She rises into the cool night air, guided by the light of a half-hidden moon. Her eyes, tuned to ultraviolet, see the world as a map of hidden patterns. To her, flowers glow differently than they do to us, their centers shining like beacons. She can sense electric fields that surround each bloom, detecting whether another bee has already visited. It saves her time and energy, a natural efficiency born from millions of years of design. When she returns, she doesn't just deliver nectar. She brings data, her precise route, the distance traveled, the scent of each blossom, and the conditions of the day. It's a constant feedback loop, a hive mind that stores information, an organic form of collective memory. And when too many bees leave one flower patch empty, others instinctively shift their focus. No central leader commands them. It's all self-regulated, a living system of balance and flow. If we look closely enough, the hive becomes a metaphor for harmony, each individual doing a small part, yet together creating something infinite. You might think, how do they rest? Do bees sleep too? Yes, they do. Bees sleep in cycles, nestle between wax combs, their antennae drooping, their little bodies still. Some even snuggle together, wings touching gently, sharing warmth and safety. During sleep, they experience different stages, light rest and deep rest, similar to how humans dream. Their muscles relax, their reactions slow, and their memories consolidate. It's during this time that they may even replay the patterns of their foraging flights, as though their tiny minds are dreaming of fields and flowers. So while you rest now, you might be dreaming too of sunlight, scent, and the shimmer of petals. Isn't it beautiful how nature mirrors itself? How every creature, no matter how small, seeks rest, rhythm, and renewal. It reminds us that sleep isn't an escape. It's part of the balance, a time for the mind to heal, the body to restore, and the spirit to reconnect with the quiet pulse of the world. As you listen, let your breath synchronize with that ancient rhythm. Inhale with the hum of the hive. Exhale with the silence of the meadow. You are part of the same intelligence, different in shape, but born of the same cosmic energy. The bees work by day, you dream by night, and both keep the cycle alive. The stars glimmer faintly above the hive now. The moonlight paints soft golden shadows across the petals of resting flowers. And deep inside the comb, the hum of thousands of tiny wings slows into stillness. The hive sleeps. You breathe. The world continues to turn. Every vibration, every flicker of motion, every silent thought of gratitude is part of that one great pattern, the living science of sleep and life intertwined. The air is warmer now. Morning light begins to wash gently across the meadow, turning every dewdrop into a tiny prism of gold. The hive awakens, slowly, softly, as if stretching after a long and peaceful dream. You can almost hear it, the low hum rising again, like a living heartbeat. Wings flutter, antennae touch, and purpose fills the air once more. Inside that golden labyrinth of wax, something magical is happening, a transformation so delicate, so efficient, that even modern science still whispers in awe. This is where nectar becomes honey, the sweet, golden breath of flowers, preserved by the labor of countless tiny scientists. It begins with a forager. A single bee leaves the hive, her body carrying the memory of 1,000 sunlit journeys. She moves through the air like a drop of sunlight given wings. Drawn by scent and color, she finds a flower, perhaps a clover, or a field of wild lavender swaying in a soft breeze. Her delicate legs land on the petals, and her proboscis, a tiny straw-like tongue, extends to sip the nectar hidden deep inside. That nectar is mostly water and simple sugars. But in her stomach, something extraordinary happens. Enzymes begin to flow, tiny biochemical artisans at work, breaking down complex sugars into simpler ones. The nectar begins its slow transformation. Even before she leaves the bloom, when she returns to the hive, she passes this gift drop by drop to another bee, mouth to mouth, a soft and precise exchange. That second bee continues the work, adding her own enzymes, evaporating water through gentle fanning of her wings. This happens again and again, bee to bee, each one refining the nectar until it thickens, warms, and takes on the first whisper of honey's golden glow. It's chemistry, but also choreography, a silent ballet of biology and purpose. No hashi, no waste, no pause, just pure rhythm. Finally, the nearly finished honey is placed into a wax cell, a perfect hexagon designed for maximum strength and minimum effort. There, the bees fan their wings in unison, creating a breeze that evaporates the last traces of moisture. When the honey reaches just the right consistency, when it is thick and glistening, and carries the scent of every flower that gave it birth, they seal it away. A thin wax cap covers the cell. The work is done. The treasure is preserved. That droplet, that small shimmer of gold, is the result of tens of thousands of journeys, millions of wing beats, and the patient intelligence of nature itself. Now imagine that comb. Thousands of hexagons shining in dim amber light. Each one holds not only honey, but also memory, a record of the flowers that bloomed that season, the temperature of the air, the path of the sun. Each batch of honey is like a liquid archive of time. Scientists have found that honey never truly spoils. It's been discovered, still edible, in tombs over 3,000 years old. The reason? Its perfect balance of acidity, sugar, and water. Honey is both food and preservative, a natural miracle, born from design and patience. But honey is more than chemistry. It's connection. When we taste it, we are tasting sunlight filtered through petals, transformed by wings, refined by care. Each spoonful carries a quiet message from the world's smallest workers, a message that says, every small effort matters. In a single jar of honey, there may be the life's work of over 500 bees and a memory of 2 million flowers. It humbles us to realize how many unseen hearts it takes to create something so sweet. Close your eyes now. Imagine yourself inside the hive. The air is warm and golden. You can smell the faint aroma of wax and nectar, of earth and flowers. You hear a soft rustling, not noise, but harmony. Thousands of wings move together, not in chaos, but in rhythm. Each wing beat helping to shape the honey's texture, each vibration carrying the music of creation. You can almost feel the warmth of their work, the pulse of life in the air, the patience that flows through every bee. It's peaceful here. There's no hurry, no struggle, only quiet purpose. Every bee knows its task. Every motion is in service of the whole. This is the science of balance. Biology and harmony, energy turned into sweetness, effort turned into rest. As your body settles, imagine that same balance within yourself. Your thoughts are like bees, busy, searching, always moving. But now, they begin to slow. They find their place. They turn their energy into something softer, something golden and still. You can almost sense the warmth spreading from your chest outward, as if the calm of the hive is flowing gently through you. Honey is, in its essence, a story of transformation. Nectar, thin, fleeting, perishable, becomes something eternal. Through patience, rhythm, and care, what was once fragile becomes strong. In that way, the hive mirrors the mind. Our worries, too, can become wisdom when passed through time and stillness. Our thoughts, when softened by rest, become sweet and healing. And so, as you breathe in, feel that transformation happening quietly inside you. Each inhale gathers what the day has left. Its noise, its motion, its weight. Each exhale refines it, softens it, and turns it into peace. You are the beekeeper now of your own thoughts, tending the hive of your mind. With patience and care, every breath is a wing beat, every heartbeat a hum, and every moment another drop of honey forming inside the silence. The hive glows softly in the twilight now. Its golden chambers shimmer with stored sunlight. The bees rest, their wings folded. Their days were complete. Outside, the air cools again, and the scent of wildflowers drifts through the night. The world hums quietly, balanced and whole. You can rest too. The day's work is done, and in the stillness, your own golden calm begins to rise. The sweetness of being, the honey of sleep. The morning light returns, soft and golden, touching the hive like a whisper. Outside, the meadow awakens in dew and song. The gentle hum of wings rising again from the tall grass. It's a sound older than words, older even than memory itself. Inside the hive, something extraordinary happens every morning. Something scientists once called impossible. It is not sound or scent or vibration alone. It is dance, the language of the honeybee, a code so elegant, so ancient, that it links all of nature in silent conversation. Watch closely now. There, near the entrance of the hive, a bee returns from her journey. Her body is dusted with pollen, her wings faintly trembling. She pauses, then begins to move in a slow, deliberate pattern. It is not random. It is meaning. She walks in a straight line, then loops in a figure eight, shaking her abdomen in a rhythm that pulses like soft drumming. This is the waggle dance, one of the most beautiful secrets of the natural world. Through this simple movement, she tells her sisters where to go, how far the flowers are, what direction the nectar lies in, even how rich and sweet it tastes. The angle of her dance relative to the sun shows the direction. The length of her waggle tells the distance. The energy in her motion reveals the quality of the bloom. A perfect equation of movement and light. Mathematics turned into poetry. Imagine that. A brain smaller than a sesame seed, carrying a map of miles of landscape. The position of the sun, the scent of 1,000 flowers, and the memory of time itself. Science has learned that bees can remember routes, distances, and landmarks for days. They recognize patterns, understand shapes, and even learn from each other's mistakes. They're not just instinct, they are intelligence, humming quietly beneath the rhythm of nature. Each dance sets others in motion. One bee's story becomes 1,000 journeys. Within minutes, the hive becomes alive, with coordinated purpose, a shimmering mind made of many minds. No arguments, no commands, no noise. Only trust, only rhythm. And as the foragers take off once more, the sound of wings fills the air, like a single breath drawn by 1,000 lives. It's as though the whole hive remembers, as though memory itself is a kind of music. Scientists have discovered that bees can remember the time of day flowers open, and even anticipate them, arriving moments before the blooms unfold. They read the world not as we do, with sight and thought, but with vibration and rhythm. To them, sunlight is a pulse, wind is a pattern, and scent is a story written in invisible ink. Their entire perception of life is movement turned into meaning. Now imagine your own thoughts that way, as soft dances in your mind, memories looping like figure eights, emotions tracing invisible paths of feeling and energy. When you breathe slowly, you can almost sense your inner hive moving the same way. Small, quiet motions of memory and calm. Each breath, each thought, a waggle dance of the mind, guiding you deeper into rest. The bees teach us that communication doesn't always need words. Sometimes the truest messages are those we feel, in rhythm, in silence, in stillness. A bee may fly miles from her hive and return with perfect accuracy. She knows the landscape, not as a set of directions, but as a flow, a moving current of wind, light, and scent. She does not get lost because she carries the world within her. Maybe that's what the hive really represents. A home inside yourself that you can always return to, no matter how far your thoughts wander. That quiet, golden place where memory and meaning come together in stillness. Back inside the hive, the bees pause. They groom one another, cleaning each other's wings and antennae. It's more than hygiene. It's connection, a physical language of touch, of shared care, of belonging. Each one depends on the others. The hive is not a collection of individuals. It is a single living being. Scientists call this superorganism behavior. Thousands of small lives, forming one great intelligence. Perhaps in our own quiet way, we're like that too. Each heartbeat, each thought, each moment of rest, a cell in the vast body of life itself. The bees move more slowly now. The air outside is cooling. The last foragers return from the fading light, their wings brushing softly against one another. The hum lowers in pitch, a natural lullaby, deep and steady. The waggle dances grow shorter, fewer. Soon, all movement stills. Inside, the hive becomes a warm, breathing sphere of sleep. The bees rest together, safe in the sound they have made. And perhaps you feel that too, your breath and heartbeat, settling into the same rhythm, as if you too were part of that quiet, golden dream. Tonight, as the world grows still, you carry a lesson from these tiny teachers, that even the smallest life can hold great memory, that even silence can speak, and that movement, rhythm, and rest are all part of the same dance. Breathe in softly, and let the hum of the hive become the hum of your own calm. You are safe, you are connected, and the universe hums quietly with you. The night deepens. The meadow lies quiet beneath a blanket of soft moonlight. A cool wind drifts gently across the fields, carrying with it the faint perfume of clover, sage, and earth. The hive, glowing faintly in the silver light, rests in a rare and sacred stillness. Inside, thousands of bees sleep, tiny hearts slowing, tiny bodies curled close together in warmth. Their hum has faded to a whisper, a faint vibration in the air, the pulse of life continuing in its gentlest form. But even in this calm, a deeper story moves quietly beneath the surface. A story of balance, fragile, vital, and shared. For all its harmony, the world of the bee is delicate. It depends on the rhythm of the seasons, on the flowering of plants, on the patience of time. A bee cannot live alone. She is bound to her sisters, to the bloom, to the rain, to the warmth of the earth itself. Every flight she takes, every droplet of nectar she gathers, is part of a chain that links life to life. If one link weakens, the flower, the soil, the air, the balance trembles. And yet, even in this fragility, there is strength. In the daylight hours, bees shape the living world around them. They touch more than 3/4 of all flowering plants on Earth, pollinating fruit, grains, and seeds. Every orchard, every garden, every forest clearing bears the mark of their gentle work. A single bee might visit 50 to 100 flowers in one trip. Thousands of bees can touch millions of blooms in a single day. They are the gardeners of the planet, the golden threads weaving ecosystems together. When they move, they carry life from one place to another, unseen, unannounced, but essential. Yet, in recent decades, that rhythm has been disrupted. Pesticides coat the flowers they drink from. Fields once rich in diversity have turned silent and still. Changing temperatures confuse their seasonal clocks, and diseases unseen but deadly creep through colonies. Scientists call it colony collapse disorder, a quiet tragedy that began to unfold. As modern life grew louder, entire hives vanished, leaving behind only silence. No movement, just the empty geometry of wax, and the faint scent of what once was life. But this is not just a story of loss. It is also a story of resilience. For in many places, bees are finding their way back. Farmers plant wildflowers again. Cities turn rooftops into gardens. Communities keep hives not for honey, but for hope. Science is learning too, studying how stress, temperature, and chemicals affect the bee's delicate communication. New understanding leads to new care, and slowly, the hum begins to return. The bees are teaching us how to listen again. The balance they keep is the same balance that keeps us. Oxygen, food, color, beauty, all linked through the soft movement of wings. When bees thrive, so does everything around them. Their science is the science of connection, a lesson written not in books, but in the air itself. Every field that blooms, every fruit that ripens, every drop of honey that glows in morning light is proof that life, even fragile life, can endure through care. And there's something else too, something softer. When you think of bees, you may think of sound, their gentle hum, the vibration of wings in the summer air. But their real message is silence. They ask for nothing more than to exist, to move gently from flower to flower, to keep the rhythm of life turning. Perhaps that's the truest kind of peace, the kind that doesn't demand, but simply continues. Close your eyes now. Imagine the hive again, glowing quietly beneath the moonlight. Inside, everything is still. The wax walls shimmer faintly in gold and silver. The bees sleep, their warmth shared, their breathing slow and even. One rests her head against another's wing. Another twitches softly, dreaming of flowers, of wind, of sun. The hive breathes as one, a single living heart, suspended in the dark. Outside, a faint mist gathers. The grass bends beneath its weight. A fox moves silently in the distance, its eyes reflecting starlight. The world turns, and the hive turns with it. You might not realize it, but your breath mirrors that same rhythm. In and out, soft and steady, keeping the balance of your own small universe. You too are connected to all of this, to the bees, to the flowers, to the wind. Every breath you take releases what the trees need. Every breath they give fills your lungs in return. Is all one cycle, one quiet conversation between life and life. The bees have been part of that story for over 100 million years, long before humans, before mountains rose, before oceans found their edges. They've survived ice ages, droughts, and storms that tore forests apart. They will survive again, because life, in all its quiet strength, knows how to begin anew. Perhaps that is the real miracle of the bees. Not just the honey, not just the flowers, but the reminder that balance, once lost, can always be restored. As the night deepens, you can almost hear the hive again, a soft hum in the back of your mind. It's not loud, not demanding, just steady, peaceful, endless. The hum of survival, the hum of care, the hum of being. And maybe, as you drift now towards sleep, you carry a part of that hum within you, a golden thread of calm, woven quietly through your dreams. Let it stay with you through the night, gentle and unbroken, the rhythm of wings, the pulse of balance, the breath of the earth itself. The night has grown still. The stars stretch endlessly above, scattered like drops of liquid light. On the velvet sky, the meadow breathes in silence. The hive rests, quiet, golden alive. And you listening here are part of that same stillness. Your thoughts, once busy as bees themselves, have slowed into a gentle hum. Your body feels light, a soft vessel floating in the quiet current of sleep. Each breath you take moves in rhythm with the hive, steady, balanced, calm. Inside the hive, a small vibration stirs. A few bees shift in their honeycombs, stretching tiny wings beneath the wax. They do not wake. They only drift deeper into the pattern of dreams. Scientists once discovered that bees experience something like sleep, not just rest, but a slowed-down, restorative state. Their antennae droop, their muscles relax, their bodies release tiny vibrations, as if they're dreaming of flight, of sunlight, of sweet nectar waiting in the morning bloom. It's a reminder that sleep isn't a pause in life. It's part of it, a secret kind of work that heals and renews. You, too, are part of that quiet science. Your cells repair, your heartbeat finds balance, your mind settles into gentle order. Your body becomes the calm center of its own living hive. In the golden dark of their home, the bees dream together. Their warmth blends. Their shared hum becomes a single note, deep, low, and endless. Perhaps somewhere in that collective stillness, they dream of fields they've never flown across, of blossoms yet to bloom, of sunlight that has not yet risen. Their world is built on trust, each bee depending on another, for warmth, for food, for meaning. There is no loneliness there, only connection. And perhaps that, too, is what sleep offers us. A return to connection, to balance, to peace. Outside, the earth continues its slow spin. The stars drift across the sky, each one ancient, each one burning quietly in infinite space. The same light that glows above the hive once touched the flowers they gather from. The same energy that shines on your face tonight fueled the forests and oceans. For billions of years, science tells us that the carbon in our bodies, the iron in our blood, and even the gold in honey were forged in the hearts of dying stars. So when you rest now, you're not just sleeping, you are returning to that cosmic rhythm, the one that began long before the first bee took flight. The air is thick with the scent of honey, soft, golden, ancient. The hive walls glisten faintly, reflecting moonlight like glass. Inside each comb, a slow process unfolds, the alchemy of nectar turning to honey. The bees fan their wings to dry the moisture, to seal sweetness into permanence. They do this instinctively, a natural science perfected over 100 million years. Drop by drop, flower by flower, they create something that never spoils, something that can last forever. Even in human history, honey has been found in Egyptian tombs, thousands of years old, still perfectly golden, still edible, a timeless sweetness, born from the labor of countless tiny lives. And as you listen now, your mind gently wrapping itself in the story, you might feel that same timeless calm, that quiet sweetness, that lingers long after the day ends. The bees will wake with the dawn. They will stretch, taste the morning air, and begin again. But for now, their world and yours is still. There is nothing more to do. No sound but your breath. And perhaps, far away, the whisper of wings in a dream. Your thoughts drift softly now, floating like dandelion seeds across a quiet field. You feel lighter, your body sinking deeper into the warmth beneath you. The edges of the world begin to blur. The story becomes music. The hum becomes silence. Somewhere between wake and sleep, the bee's golden hum fades into the wind. It becomes the rhythm of your breath, the melody of peace itself. You are floating now, weightless, warm, safe. The stars watch over you. The hive hums in your memory, and the earth, ancient and alive, cradles you in its arms. Let everything go, the thoughts, the worries, the noise of the day. Let your body sink deeper, heavier, quieter. You are resting now, as the bees rest. You are part of the balance, the endless, gentle pattern of life. And in that balance, you find peace. So close your eyes, breathe in softly, breathe out slowly. The hum is fading. The stars are dimming. Sleep is near. Let your mind drift into the honey-gold quiet of deep rest. Dream of sunlight and meadows and the endless rhythm of wings. The bees sleep. The world sleeps. And now, so do you. Sleep now. And let the gentle music guide you deeper into peaceful dreams and deep rest. Good night.